Right, I've made a couple of tweaks to my build. I'm still running the transonic blades, same setup as last time, aim for crits, which feed into electrocutions in my talents. Braced autogun has had a slight tweak. Instead of getting toughness with continued fire, I'm now doing suppression with continued fire. I feel like that's a bit more supportive of the rest of the team. And I never really found myself just getting my gun off to get some toughness back up. I never consciously noticed what it was doing, so maybe I don't need it. We'll see how it goes without. And the curios are still all the same toughness across the top, except for 2 max stamina on this final curio, but toughness, sprint efficiency, and revive speed, all of those feed into my toughness regeneration, being good at obviously getting allies back up, and the sprinting feeds into strip down, so that I've got as much time with over 50% stamina as possible with the strip down. Talents have changed slightly, so this used to be this. Although it's nice to have extra, bigger numbers on electrocuted targets, I feel like survivability is probably the key. I think I'm probably going to have as much survivability as possible as I did in the previous setup. So replenishment of toughness, all the same nodes are the same. But I've swapped these two for some reloading passively. So whenever I'm not firing for more than 5 seconds, I'm putting ammo back in my gun, which when you're doing Auric and you're firing at stuff and you very often have to switch to melee and deal with stuff in your face, you don't have as many opportunities to actually do the reloading. So to come out of a melee fight completely fresh and ready to fire, I think is quite good. Unfortunately, I have to take the ammo cell augury in order to get there. So I've had to pinch a couple of points to get those, and I've taken points out of the electrocuting damage bonuses. I've taken out a point in the target prioritization, as much as I do like to see targets through walls. That is, or targets amongst big mobs. That's possibly a skill issue that I might have to just develop. And I'm just seeing how it goes without that for the time being. And I've put a couple more points into Cord Claw. There's a horizontal swipe attack, and I didn't realize until today that when you choose either of these two, because when you pick one of them, it locks the other one out, either doing 3 consecutive swipes or attacks, or the horizontal swipe, that's if you just press the ability button. If you hold it first and then release, it does the standard Cord Claws thrust, the single strike. So it's not completely removing the original strike, it's just giving you another option as well. And if you pair this with the Satiated Steel, each kill is restoring 25% capacitance over 5 seconds. So when you do it in a big group of enemies, it allows you to do some wave clear. It's still pokey against specialists and elites. There are some elites that it won't one shot, but that's fine. But this is good for just clearing stuff out of the way quickly. The Axial Slash, that is. And if you get a high enough number of enemies in a single swipe, then you pretty much it pays for itself in capacitance. That's the aim. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see whether the suppression also is beneficial as opposed to the toughness regeneration. What? I feel like there's another point I pinched from somewhere. Oh yes, there we go. So I've lost the toughness regeneration from the surge extension. So slightly, ever so slightly less tough, but we'll see how many points we can keep pinching from toughness nodes to see what the sort of the breakpoint is for taking a melee hit and still, it's at least the way I play, it's very difficult to not take one occasional hit, and that's fine. You can take an occasional hit as long as your stamina is back up to 100% before you take another hit. So the main one that's giving us that toughness replenishment is the auto repair doctrines, and if I'm doing lots of critting, which I normally do, this one as well, so 15% toughness over 3 seconds, those two in conjunction with each other, and if I'm caught out in range, then the range toughness as well, and then your electrocuting stuff that you crit gives you toughness. Lots of ways of getting back toughness, weak spot kills, so hopefully I can manage without the surge extension. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to do a quick play. I like to see a variety of different units. We've got frag grenade. I would prefer crack grenade, but the voice of command is nice, and chorus is also very good for when you just got nowhere to go and you just have to get a bit of downtime on the onslaught of heavies and whatnot.
Got a sanctioned redactors mission for you. You get all the good jobs. Targets in the enforcer station, squatted in the water cartel's old digs. Intel places the target in the courthouse cell blocks. Give him the old Steel Legion hello from me, would you?
Yogrin is probably going to appreciate the suppressing fire that I offer, because they tend to be a bullet sponge.
Smells of death down here!
I hope you're gone before they flush the system.
I wouldn't really expect an awful lot of
You're going to encounter plenty of pop
narration while I'm playing.
Keep moving.
I'm not that good.
The beast no man shall stay my purpose.
Post-production Johnny stepping in here. Pretty much all voiceover that you hear from now on is going to be post-production, except for maybe one moment in the lift before the final boss. I don't think I really needed to engage on this group on the left down there. I think I was just pretty keen to start playing with this suppression blessing that I'd recently added to this gun.
Press on through maintenance. There's nothing worth having in here.
I completely whiffed my cord claw and decided to run away like a big pansy. I think I was slightly put off by the fact that I had to think about whether to do an instant press or a charged press of my ability, because this is the first time I'd ever actually used the swipe. Nevertheless, we dealt with that quite well. So I think my team helped me out there quite a bit. I like lingering out the back because the game director, whatever it's called, will generally send stuff from behind at you, and if you're not paying attention, it can quite easily ruin your game. But I'm switching to suppression mode because I know this corridor is generally fairly full of gunners. A brief moment out there to deal with some trash that was probably already dead and just animating their death. Back to suppressing. I haven't quite noticed yet that there's a boss coming through here. Now I know. I see the gas coming over into the right hand side, so I move over to the left, and I actually didn't even notice this shotgunner stood right next to me, blasting me in the face and ruining my toughness. Thankfully the veteran gave us all a toughness boost. I'm getting hit from behind, so I deal with these two, and then I realised I'm probably not adding much value to this fight, just stood there dealing with those two, so I go down here and try and help this clusterfuck. There's quite a few gunners, so I'm going to transition to suppressing fire again. And it's quite possible that my suppressing fire activated the next half of the room. So there are some gunners that should be shooting down on us now. I feel like I need to go and take control of those gunners by suppressing them, but I'm met with a bunch of rages which I have to deal with first. Now I can get back on track and deal with the gunners. Using my ranged immunity, I'm sprinting around with the braced autogun. I like to do little circles like that while I'm pinging. I didn't quite notice that dog was sizing up. But you can actually activate the servo skull while you're sprinting, so I like to take advantage of that fact by sprinting around with my braced autogun, which gives me ranged immunity, and then I can just ping targets that I want to be dead. That's usually how I deal with rooms of gunners. It also means that generally I'm up front taking the attention of said gunners, and it means that the rest of my team can start moving in without taking too much fire. I don't know what's just downed our grim friend, but I just blast the area.
You've got incoming. Work together to hold them off.
I'm leaving that ammo for the rest of the team because I know that my ammo replenishes every 15 seconds. Gives me 1%. And I actually very rarely drop below about 50% of my total capacity throughout the game, most games. I'm trying to ping for special targets. I didn't see any, so I just thought I'd pepper them with a few shots. There's a special one. Goes down quite quickly. Being a rager while I'm dealing with the mobs in front of me. The utility in being able to ping something that you're not immediately dealing with is very nice. I didn't target that burster with my servo skull, but I am quite surprised I didn't manage to push it. I thought I was close enough.
Time to move on. Through his hand. Keep up the pace.
Grabbing that little bit of ammo and then catching up with the rest of the team. It's a good idea to try and keep pace with your team. Got to clear out the trash that's trailing us and then catch up again. Now I'm on Auric duty. There are a few gunners down here, so I'm suppressing as much as I can. Oh, there's another crusher. I did a swipe there by accident, so I had to spend 2 charges to kill that crusher. Moving over to the side so I'm not getting in line of sight of any ranged outside that window or hole in the wall. Electrocution coming into good effect there. I thought I was sending my skull over to res our fallen teammate, but I don't know why it didn't go off. Maybe they were already being resed. I'm trying to get a bead on that sniper. There they are. The veteran dealt with that nicely. I didn't really notice our team had started moving down. And it's only when I moved away from line of sight of the sniper that I realised everyone was down the hole. I heard a flamer behind us. There it is. I didn't need to engage on that crusher. But it brought the Rager right through the team and allowed the rest of the team to get a few free hits. Not that I knew that there was a Rager there. I see some shotgunners trying to suppress them as much as possible, but I think Cardo was doing a fine job of keeping them in melee. Raiders have come through again because I peppered the room with some bullets. Perhaps fumbling my ability again a little bit, mixing up swipes and thrusts. Tried to find a little window there, but there wasn't one. I got the thrust, but I don't know why that crusher didn't die. Maybe I caught something else. Again, electrocution coming into good effect there from the melee crits. Medpacks on the floor have dealt with our corruption quite nicely, except for the sergeant who's got a 1 full bar. Tried to dodge the mutant, but he's going for someone else.
Enemies have taken cover.
Just spraying and praying, because I can't really see an awful lot, but I'm just double pinging and continuously firing. I could hear their bomber behind us, but find a trapper. Where's the bomber? There he is. Unfortunately, I find a dog in the mist. But I think I managed to ping it just quick enough, or maybe one of our teammates killed it. So I picked up a combat stim there. Worth keeping that for the final room. Getting a bit of space to do a proper reload. To hear that mutant coming through from behind. Just checking there's no other units coming through. Then we can focus on clearing out the rest. I don't know whether it's the fact that the shotgunners have a higher threshold for suppression or whether they're just immune to suppression, but I haven't noticed them being affected all that much. I might need to go and test it out inside the Psycharium. I had a dog. I thought it was coming from behind. But actually, I was lucky with it just going in the right direction for it to jump behind me. Obviously skill. This room is normally full of gunners, but I'm trying to attract attention by running in the middle with my ranged immunity. Gives the team space for some time to move in. They're dealing with the sides, so I'm dealing with the middle. I've heard some trappers coming in behind. And they've made a mess of the Auric. And our veteran has gone off and damned himself to a couple of rages and needs some help. I have a bit of a brain fart here and I couldn't figure out whether to thrust or swipe. Well, I knew I wanted to swipe, but I couldn't remember the button to do it. I actually picked up this veteran with my Milike servo skull. Getting to grips a little bit more with deciding between holding or pressing my ability button. But you notice that I actually took a sizable chunk of damage from just not, doing that little brain fart of not doing my swipe immediately. The trash, if they can get on you, they will do a lot of damage. I see some Reapers down there that I want to suppress. I saw something climb up. Don't want that popping at us whilst we're downstairs. Head the dog. I want to try and make some space before I can turn around and shoot it. Catch up with the rest of the team. Here's some specials. And now I see some gunners that I want to suppress. Keep them suppressed. Finish them off. I don't know if I've got enough in the barrel to deal with the sniper, but the Auric helped me out there. Can see a single unit having a little pop from us back here. There he is. Deal with the trapper, deal with the dog, catch up with the rest of the team. Now this corridor is normally peppered with, or it's full of ranged gunners. So once you start firing down here, they'll engage But we need to deal with these big units first, and I can revert back to suppressing fire. Should have started turning my focus over to the room on the left. I now do. I don't normally get quite so gun happy, but that is a reasonably long section of corridors to be shot at by enemies with. I do want to know whether there's a way of cancelling your ability once you started charging it up, because once I saw that the Crusher was dead, I then had nothing to use my ability on. I'm leaving that ammo for someone else. A couple of Crushers here. I'll get my skull on the other one. It goes down fairly quick for the rest of the team. I'm a little bit surprised that I didn't take more health damage from this Rager. I think maybe it was my toughness damage reduction that protected me, or my health a little bit from it. I don't know what happened to that Crusher in terms of physics, but I don't have any more charges of my ability, so I resorted to just meleeing it, because if you get a crit in melee with this build, it will electrocute, and that will actually keep a Crusher stun locked. Covering the rear again. Maybe not shooting so well on that mutant. Keeping up with the team. I've got a charge, I know I can do this Crusher. I know there's sometimes some gunners in here, so I'm trying to do some suppressing fire again. Not bullets, but the room is clear. So, I am in the habit of upgrading a combat stim to a med stim whenever possible, but it did me a disservice on this run. I don't want to tempt fate or anything, but this feels like it's going quite well. We will see about this bit though.
I knew you'd be coming!
That moment on the left where I was talking was actually me in game. Had a brief moment of respite to be able to talk. Took me a few tries to get to doing a proper cord claw attack on him when his shield was down. The timing was a little bit off, both of those. I feel like I was trying to use a combat stim just then, but because I was at full health at the time, nothing was happening. It was very confusing. Dealt with those gunners or shotgunners and go back to dealing with the boss, and I've finally got a decent cord claw strike. Sadly, I think someone hit a barrel. I don't know if it was me or the Ogrin, but that caused the Ogrin to go flying off and be the only death of this entire run. It was a sad end to a very fine run. I'm going to say it was the Ogrin. Oh. It was a shame that one of us went down and died. But that was a very good team. I enjoyed. What a surprise.